couldn't be any tighter. The Party Poker Mosconi Cup is locked at 5 apiece after day 2 at the Mandalay Bay. Plenty for Karl and I to get stuck into on Off the Rail. Yes, what a day we've seen here in Las Vegas. All 5 matches ended 5-1. USA took 3 of them, Europe 2. It leaves us at 5-all at the halfway stage. It's all set for potentially one of the greatest Mosconi Cups we've ever seen. Karl, how do you separate these two sides?
Well, at the minute you can't. I sort of predicted 5-5 at the start of the day, and there was a lot of talking points for it. It was a good day, and you know, for a neutral, just nice to watch it all pan out, and it was a very enjoyable day.
We had a suspicion we'd see a lot of Shane Van Boening today, especially with the fans' choice pick and Johan having reserved him on day 1. We saw him 3 times, 2 singles, 1 doubles, and it didn't start off to plan for Shane. We were starting to get a little bit worried, especially after that missed 9. Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's broke. The very first rack he's broke. The white's got kicked in. Filler's not missed a ball, you know, in 2 days. He looks so up for it, doesn't he? Does Joshua? And he was really up for the match. You know, he wanted to play Shane. He wants to sort of prove he's better than him and all this, and he's not scared of playing. And he ran into a 3-0 lead, and then Shane in the end didn't quite get on the 9 ball. You know, a lot of people thought he should have potted it, but didn't really get close to his work, missed it. Then he missed another ball, and you're kind of worried from them. But the very next match, the doubles, the boys come back strong there, they really did.
And then Shane comes out for doubles alongside Bergman against arguably Europe's strongest doubles partnership with Filler and Jason Shaw, and 5-1. I mean, nobody would have expected that.
Yeah, and to be fair, Shane was under a lot of pressure. He lost his singles match. He'd missed a 9 ball and a 3 ball, so he was under the heat. But there was a shot in the match what Bergman played. Shaw got lucky off a tough bank shot on the 8, and it was 1-1. And Bergman played a fantastic bank shot, and that sort of, you know, gave them the help, and they went on to win the match. And you know, they were 2 behind, and it was looking pretty worrying at one stage. So that was a huge point there.
And then Tyler Steyer comes out, and possibly the favourite against Clenty Catchy, especially if you're looking at last year's Mosconi Cup as an indicator. And Clenty with a little bit on his mind with what's happened in Albania overnight, but he's come out with, for me, possibly the best individual performance yet.
Yeah, I mean, last year he didn't play terrible last year. It just didn't look as if he wanted to be out there, and he was used to the surroundings. But you know, he played really solid today, and Tyler didn't play too bad. Just, you know, he was trying to maybe push the ball out on a few shots, and you know, I'm glad that Catchy got the win, because he's a top player, and you need that win sometimes, you know, just to settle you down, because it's hard work out there.
And Europe did need that win, because that put them 2 ahead. It meant they couldn't be trailing at the end of the day, and then USA came and won those last 2 points, first of all in the doubles match.
Yeah, and like you say, Europe went 2 up again, so you know, they're on the back foot. And when you're whether on your back foot, whatever shot you've got, you're under severe pressure. Do you know what I mean? Everything seems to be heightened, but no one's kind of figured the breakout yet in this event. It seems to be very random. You know, no one knows if there's balls going to go in a certain pocket or anything like that. I spoke to Marcus. He said he wasn't happy with Johan, because apparently Johan's been complaining because he thinks Europe have been soft breaking, but I've not really seen much of that, to be honest.
We'll explore that a little bit in a moment. We know Johan Roysink coming up talking to Nick Schulman for us. Just before we get into that, the final singles match, Shane, his second singles match of the day, comes out, lost 5-1 in the first match, wins 5-1 in the final match.
Yeah, I just think Kazakis, again, he just doesn't quite look like he sort of should be out there, and he wants to be out there. Himself and Niels not really been at the races. Obviously, they lost the doubles match, and whenever you lose a doubles match and you've got to go on and play singles, it's even harder, and especially when you've got to play Shane. But Shane, the very first rack, he played safe on a 2 ball, where I thought he should have just potted it because there was an easy combo. And so Kazakis stole the first rack. Second rack, he's in the balls, and he missed a 6 ball on the rail. And you just felt like if he'd have made that, would it just give him that little bit of confidence? And from then on, Shane, you know, he did what he does to a lot of people. He just sort of mullered them, and it looks worrying for Kazakis out there. It does for me.
Well, that's the flip side of missing that 6. Like you say, if he makes it, it gives him a bit of confidence, but missing it, he's got last year in the back of his mind. He's then missed that and gone on to lose 5-1. You do worry for him for these next 2 days, don't you?
Yeah, he also missed a 2 ball later on in the match, but he missed it by so far. It's like, it's hard to believe a professional could miss it by that much. That must just be pure tension and the back arm and whatever else. And it'd be interesting to see what lineup they go with tomorrow.
Well, you mentioned the soft breaking there. Let's hear now from Team USA coach Johan Roysink.
Coach, what a day. How big was that Woodward-Thorpe match, just momentum-wise?
Yeah, that was huge. and also it got the crowd really behind us, and you know, it gave us a chance to win the day, which is incredibly important for us.
Did it feel like even though he maybe wasn't in top form, Shane just still kind of finds a way to get it done? Sort of. How do you assess his day today?
Well, obviously he wasn't super sharp when he started. He got kicked in from the break again against Filler, and then I think he got a little bit annoyed by that, and then by missing the 9-ball, it was actually you know, that doesn't happen normally to a guy like Shane, especially when he's in a high pressure situation. So that kind of took him a little bit by surprise. But the guy is a professional. He's been there 1,000 times, so he finds a way back. He finds a way to correct himself, and he did. He found a better rhythm around the table. Obviously, more deliberate, and yeah, he took big point for us in the end.
What's the plan for tonight?
The plan for tonight.
Going out par look, if you hit up the clubs with the boys?
No, we never do that. We will have a little bit of dinner with some of the family with us. I think the guys deserve that. And then after that, we will evaluate today. We need to improve still. I just think, you know, Lady Luck hasn't put a smile on us yet. And I think if that happens once, then we might just grab the extra point. And we might take a little bit of more distance between us and Team Europe. But, you know, obviously I would be happy just to win the day tomorrow again.
Sure. Filler, are there, I mean, there's only so much you can do, but he seemed fairly unstoppable so far. Is there, you know, what's your take on him? Is there anything you guys are going to try to do to kind of contain him? I mean, again, you're alone at the table, but.
Well, I mean, we can't contain him. I mean, he can only contain himself. I think he's been pretty fortunate so far. He's a shooter. He's not the best in the tactical situations. So the way it went, first match, first break against him, scratch. He's a shooter, gets an open rack, so that gets him into the rhythm. You know, he's one of the best players in the world, obviously. So you don't want to get him into open tables. And you know, he's got his break figured out. So he's got this little bit of soft pop break, and it gives a good spread for him. So no problems at the table, and that works very well for him.
And lastly, I'm sure you have adjusting ideas about the break, but it looked like the corner ball started going low, or that the balls started breaking different. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to reveal exactly what you're seeing, but are you seeing little differences in how to approach it?
Well, I thought that in the beginning, and the pop break worked really well for Team Europe. We smashed them a little bit more, so we have a little bit more wild balls and wild wide ball. But in the end, you know, they kind of shot themselves in the foot by breaking so soft, because then they got dry breaks, and then we could play from there. I don't know. I think it's more the speed that makes the break different than that the break started to change. So I think if they keep breaking like this, and we keep breaking like this, then you know, again, if Lady Luck comes a bit to our side, you know, we might win the day, and maybe with a good 4-1 tomorrow.
All right, Coach. Have a great night. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
So, Karl, as you mentioned earlier, Johan Roysink's perhaps suggesting that Europe are breaking soft. I've not seen that, have you?
No, I've not really seen it, but to be honest, it's not like, even if they have, it's not like they've been getting shots off the break or there's a ball been going in, so I don't really know what he's talking about.
Well, certainly the break doesn't seem to be working for either side, actually, really, is it?
No, it's just all a bit random, but I think, you know, after day two, it's sort of set poised, and at the beginning of the event, I just felt like who would play the best out of, not the rookies, but the guys who have maybe not won the big major tournaments or had the big Mosconi Cups, Kachi and Kazakis and Tyler and Billy. Billy's, every time he seems to have a long pot, you just don't fancy him to pot it, but a bank or a safety shot, you know, he's on point, but them long shots, I think he needs to work on his cue action overnight, I think.
And another guy who's struggling a little bit is one of the experienced players. Neil's fine. I don't think I've seen him struggle like this at a Mosconi Cup ever. Yeah,
the thing with Niels is I've always felt like, certainly when I played in it, we had Darren or Ralph, and they sort of took the mantle. And I know Marcus feels like Niels is like that, but I don't think he is. I think he prefers to be behind the scenes and let somebody else take the route. And looking at sort of Jason and Filler and the other guys, they're not really that type of player either. But so I think Marcus called upon Niels for experience, but I just don't think he's that type of player, mate.
Well, we can hear now from the European captain, Marcus Schulman. He's with Nick Schulman.
What a match so far, Coach. How are you feeling going into tomorrow? What's the plan for tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I guess 5-5 reflects these 2 days. I mean, if you look back at it, it's you know, it could have been a different score going either way. So, and the big players are showing up. I mean, if you look at their side and my side, so I guess 5-5 is the way it is. Yeah, tonight we're just gonna, few of us gonna relax. A couple of players gonna put some hours in that really feel they need to sharpen up a few things. So that's the plan, and just knowing where you're halfway. I mean, it's back to 0-0. So
It looked like Kazakis really struggled today. Happens. What do you kind of what do you tell him tonight, and how's he feeling, and how are you feeling about his play and just the way it went down today?
It's just this tournament. Everybody just want to win so bad, and against Shane, it's just tough. He's so tough to play against. He's going to pretty much put a good performance in there. He's got to keep his head out. So he was playing good, in the doubles he was looking good. And unfortunately, Niels didn't, they made a few mistakes, and that's all it takes in a race to 5. So, I mean, I feel confident going into tomorrow. They can work on some stuff and, try to come back and win these matches.
Understood. Who do you think's playing the best on the American team, and maybe who do you see as struggling the most so far?
Well, Shane is always, he's always, they're relying a lot on him. I mean, he played 3 matches today. So if they really was about to lose 2 or 3 of those matches, they could have been in big trouble. Going into the last 2 days. It's like you're playing pocket aces the whole time. You think you're gonna win on them, but it's not guaranteed you're gonna do it, right? So they played pocket aces today, and we came in with ace king. So it's all good with 5-all. And I mean, struggling the most. I mean, Billy has made a couple of really big mistakes. He won the last double, but it's just hard to feel. I feel like I have a strong side, a real solid team. Now going into the next 2 days, it's going to show up who's the better team. So.
We'll get some rest tonight. I'm sure the lads will be hitting balls. Thanks. Good luck tomorrow,
All right.
Marcus.
Thanks.
Well, Karl, we've seen Shane Van Boening 3 times today. Marcus there suggesting that perhaps USA have played their trump card now. Do you see it that way? No,
I mean, at the end of the day, Skyler's, he's not really been seen much in this year's Cup. He's got his singles match to come up. He looks good out there. It's an interesting one because you feel like Phil's going to play the singles match. Europe won 3-2 on day 1. Marcus probably going to pick the same team. Is Johan going to play Shane? Shane lost to Phil. I don't think he's going to.
One thing we do know we'll get tomorrow, we start with doubles and then we're into singles. It'll be Niels Fine and Skyler Woodward. They're the only 2 guys not to have played singles. Watching that from where we're sat at the moment, you think that might be a point for USA?
Yeah, it's interesting because Marcus picked Niels as like, the legend of the Mosconi, and he's played the 5th, singles match, which sort of tells a bit of a story, doesn't it? But I think the key one is the match after. There's no doubt about it. Marcus will pick Joshua Filler. I don't think Johan's going to pick Shane. So who's he going to pick?
Well, he picked Billy Thorpe to play. Well, he didn't know he'd be playing Joshua Filler, but I think Johan suspected that Europe would go strong with singles on day 1. Do you think he might have that same suspicion tomorrow then?
Yeah, I think he's going to look at his team, and then maybe you're right. Maybe it's a case of putting Billy. No disrespect to Billy, I don't mean it like that, but Filler can literally drill anybody. So is that the way you play? You've got to play your strongest doubles, I feel, because they know he's going to go with Joshua Filler.
Well, we will find out. The team lineups will be out later tonight, so keep your eye on our Mosconi Cup social medias for that, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Off the Rail.